get more yeses? Like, what's your sales process? And, what are some of the mistakes that you see people make in sales?
It's really interesting. Two things triggered in my head there. The first one was never take a no from somebody who can't give you a yes, which I think is really powerful because too many people.
So explain that. What kind of expand on that a little bit. Never
take a no from somebody who can't give you a yes. Too many people are selling to people who can't make a decision, and that they're too scared to go higher up the food chain. People don't pitch me; they'll pitch the marketing team or they'll pitch the junior marketeer, and those people can't say yes. They can say no, but they can't say yes. So it's really important to find the person that can actually say yes. But I would say the reverse. I want you to get more no's. I want you to understand what the real problem is. Because most of the time we're not fixing the problem. We're selling a solution. We're not fixing the problem. You're selling insurance. The problem is not when you die, you're going to give somebody you just want to give security. You want to make sure that everybody after you're not here is a much better place, or is in an equal place they are before you, if you were here. And I think that the storytelling is what's important. When you start getting no's, that's when the sales starts. That's when the sales process starts. And I always say to people, get more no's. Find out what they don't need before you get before they get yeses. And also, it is a process of asking yes questions. Once you ask more yes questions and get them in the habit of saying yes, it then becomes easy. When you ask them for the business, they go, okay.
I always said, if I got a lot of little yeses, I always got the big yes at the end, as long as I got a lot of little yeses along the way. So that's wonderful that you said that. And so, when you think about it, like mistakes that people make in business, entrepreneurs, you've seen it all. You've been around a little while and you've seen it all. Entrepreneurs, new people in business, salespeople. Do you have any kind of, anything ring with you right now when what are some of the biggest mistakes that people make? The biggest challenges that people kind of almost do it to themselves sometimes. Anything pop up for you?
It's all about storytelling. The stories that we tell ourselves are the stories that we have. A thought is not always true. It might feel very true in our mind, but it's not a truth. It's just a thought. Sometimes they've got to pass through you. Sometimes they do become things, but most of the time, just let it go. Don't hold on to it for too long. I've had a lot of people I've worked with over the years, and I've had people who are stubborn. I like them green. I like them when they like you were. They come in, they want it so badly. They won't overcomplicate it. They'll do what they're told, and they'll go through the process. Because there's three things to building a culture. You've got the mindset, you've got the process, and you've got the outcomes. If you don't follow a process, you're not going to get your outcome. If your mind's not in the right place, you won't follow the process. You won't get the outcome. So you can't have one without the other. And I think too many people allow too many no's to put them off course. They allow too many people who are not. There's three people who should ask for advice in life. Okay, someone you'd swap places with. If I'd swap places with you, I can ask you for advice. Somebody who's who's been to the place I want to go to. If you want advice on South Africa, I'm going to ask you because you've been there a few times, right? So asking for advice. You certainly do not want advice from anybody you wouldn't swap places with. And then the next thing is you want somebody who's actually achieved what you want to achieve. If you can't get that information from that person, then it doesn't matter what they've got to say to you. It's unusable.
I think you're right on, man. And so when you look back on your life, do you have anything that you what would you tell your younger self?
I'm very lucky. my son is, I keep saying 21. You know, what would you tell your 20-year-old self? Well, my 21-year-old self started his business in his bedroom in his underpants. And over the last year, he started a small influencer business. So he takes influencers and he goes to big brands and does deals for them. He brings brands and influencers together. He started with one of his friends. That was a year ago. And now he's got 100 clients, 100 influencers. They do hundreds of brand deals every month. It's a fantastic business. And I'm his mentor. And he phones me up. And unlike my dad, he listens to what I say. And he's doing better every day. And I'm super proud. I'm super proud for two reasons. One, because he's following my playbook, the same playbook that I built my business on. So at Christmas, he took his whole team to the Maldives for Christmas. Last month, they worked in the south of France. He took a private jet, flew them down there, hired a villa on the beach, and they worked there for a week. And I said, oh, honestly, man, you make me so proud. One, because my playbook works. So it's like, you know, ticking that box. And two, you know, you're my baby and you're delivering big time.
What a proud father you are, man. I mean, you have to be so proud at that. And I mean, and it's so cool to see the next generations become, and he's going to probably be more successful than you know, at one day. That's all of our hope.
This is
Right?
your benchmark.
Yeah, no, I mean, how cool is that? Like I'm so happy that I got a couple of kids that are like smarter than I am. I mean, and smart young people, man. And if they just follow the playbook, like you said, I mean, they're going to have a lot of success. And so as we kind of wrap things up today, this has been really, really exciting for me to talk to you. I've heard so much about you, and I've read about you and watched some podcasts, and you're just, you know, you seem like such an authentic guy that has really just a ton of knowledge. I mean, I really, my audience, I want to make sure that all of you guys make sure you go get his couple of books that he's put out. And I don't know, you have two books, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Two books.
Two
And
books.
so make sure
Three
that you
books,
go out.
actually.
Three books. Okay. What's the other one? So that no F in sales.
No F in sales. The new one is called Equanimity, which is the diary. And the one I wrote in the middle was called White Belt Thinking, which is
White Belt Thinking.
It's
Okay.
a fable.
What was that? Okay. Oh, really? Okay.
It's a story of a young boy. And it's funny because it's everything we've talked about here today. It's about a young boy who was, he starts off in a library and he's moaning to his girlfriend, and this old man, oh, I'm getting goosebumps actually, because it's basically what we talked about. This old man hears him and says, you know, young man, this, you know, it's not quite true what you're saying. And he takes on this mentorship role of him, and he goes on to become a boxing champion. And the theory of white belt thinking is, if you go through life with a white belt mentality, white belt is the first belt you get in any martial arts. Okay, as you get better, you get other belts. But if you start as a white belt, as a beginner, and you see everything through beginner's eyes, and you listen to what your teachers tell you, you will get better and better and better.
And you will definitely surpass the competition so much faster with white belt thinking. I love that. I'm gonna go get that book too, man. So I'm excited about that. That's very, very cool. And so, do you have a favorite book? Oh, no, go ahead.
One more thing that I did as well, which, you know, just it's like, apart from saving a business during COVID, I wrote a few books. You know, the other thing I did when I was struggling, I'd go and sit. I had a house down by the sea, and I'd go and sit on the bench. And I started writing poems, and they were like 4-line poems, and I'd write them, and I sort of nothing, just put them on the phone, and then I sort of, I'm going to post one on Instagram. I got one of my designers to mock it up. I'm up to 527 days of posting a poem. It's called The Motivational Poet, and every day is a motivational poem, and you'll love it because it's all the things that we've been taught and believe. And that was another thing that came out of it. And then at the end of it, I published a book of 365 poems. And then everywhere I go, they're in my bag. And anyone I meet who smiles at me in a nice way or is positive, I say, here's my book. And I've got to say, it's a whole thing about, you create your gift and you give it away for free.
What a life, because life is an adventure, and what a life to be able to do that, to be able to make impact and change so many lives along the way. How fun is that? Do you have a favorite book though, like that you look back and go, man, that one kind of transformed me a little bit?
I think my favorite book that was a game changer for me was Relentless by Tim Grover.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty newer one too. I mean, that's a newer book. But wow, isn't that a great book though? I mean, one of my all time, got to be my top 10 as far as Relentless, because it was so honest. That's what I love about it. It was so honest and authentic, and talked about things that a lot of people don't like to talk about when you talk about successful people. Thank you for watching our short clips on Alonzo Academy. If you'd like to watch the next short clip, click here. If you'd like to watch the entire podcast, click here.